My son-in-law Michael had called that Tuesday morning. "Hey, Robert, I've been reviewing your portfolio. We should meet this week. There are some opportunities I want to discuss with you." His voice had that smooth, professional tone he always used when talking about money. The tone that made Sarah fall in love with him 12 years ago. I should have known something was wrong right then. Michael never called just to chat. Our relationship had always been cordial but distant. He was the insurance broker who married my daughter, gave me 2 beautiful grandkids, and showed up at family dinners with expensive wine and stories about his latest clients. We shook hands at Christmas. We made small talk at birthdays. That was the extent of it. But I was lonely. My wife Patricia had been gone for 2 years, and the house felt too big, too quiet. When family reached out, even Michael, I took it as a kindness. "Sure," I said. "Thursday work for you? I can come by your office. Actually, I was thinking I'd come to you. Bring some paperwork for you to look over. Say around 2? I remember feeling pleased about that. He was making the effort to drive 40 minutes to my place. Maybe we were finally building a real relationship. Maybe he saw me as more than just Sarah's father. Thursday came. I made coffee and set out some cookies Patricia used to bake, the store-bought kind that never tasted quite right. Michael arrived exactly at 2, carrying a leather portfolio that probably cost more than my first car. He looked good. He always looked good. Tailored suit, perfect haircut, shoes that clicked confidently on my hardwood floors. At 65, wearing my old flannel shirt and jeans with paint stains from a project I'd never finished, I felt suddenly aware of the difference between us. "Robert, good to see you." He shook my hand firmly, the kind of handshake they teach in sales seminars. "Thanks for making time." We sat at my kitchen table, the same table where Patricia and I had shared breakfast for 38 years. He spread out documents, charts with colored graphs, projections that meant nothing to me. "So here's what I'm thinking," he began. "Your current portfolio is too conservative. You're 65, but you could live another 20, 30 years. We need to be more aggressive." I nodded, pretending to understand. Numbers had never been my thing. I built houses. I knew 2x4s and load-bearing walls, and how to read a blueprint. Stocks and bonds and mutual funds might as well have been written in Greek. "I'm recommending we move 70% of your savings into this new fund. It's showing consistent returns of 15 to 18% annually." "That sounds good," I said, because what else could I say? "Great, I just need you to sign here, here, and here." He pointed with a gold pen. I hesitated. Shouldn't I show this to someone? Maybe have another advisor look it over? His smile didn't waver. "Of course, if you want to. But Robert, you know I'd never steer you wrong. Your family. Sarah would kill me." He laughed. That easy laugh that came so naturally to him. Family. The word made me pick up the pen. I signed. He left 20 minutes later, taking the documents with him. "I'll get these processed right away. You should see the transfers in your account within a week." I watched his black Audi pull out of my driveway and felt something I couldn't quite name. Not worry, exactly. More like a small, nagging sense that I'd just done something foolish. But I pushed it away. He was my son-in-law. He was family. The feeling didn't go away. Over the next 3 weeks, Michael called twice to check in. Each time, he had new papers for me to sign. Each time, I signed them at my kitchen table, with coffee getting cold and questions I didn't ask sitting heavy in my chest. Then came the phone call that changed everything. It was a Wednesday morning, early October. The leaves outside my window were just starting to turn. The phone rang while I was reading the paper, and I almost didn't answer because I didn't recognize the number. "Mr. Harrison? This is Jennifer Chen from Westfield Accounting. I'm calling about the tax consultation you scheduled." I hadn't scheduled any tax consultation. "I'm sorry," I said. "I think you have the wrong number. Robert Harrison on Maple Street? We have you down for 9 a.m. tomorrow. Your son-in-law Michael set it up. He said you needed help with some complex investment documentation for your tax filing." Something cold settled in my stomach. "Michael set this up?" "Yes, about 2 weeks ago. He said it was urgent because of some recent portfolio changes." "Is there a problem?" I could have canceled. I could have said it was a mistake and hung up. But that nagging feeling I'd been ignoring suddenly got loud. "No," I heard myself say. "Tomorrow at 9 is fine." I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, Patricia's side still empty after 2 years, and tried to understand why Michael would schedule an accounting appointment without telling me. Maybe it was thoughtful. Maybe he was just being thorough. Maybe. The next morning, I arrived at Westfield Accounting at 8:45. The office was small, tucked between a dental practice and a real estate agency in a strip mall I'd driven past 1,000 times without noticing. Jennifer Chen was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. She had my files spread across her desk before I even sat down. "Mr. Harrison, I'm going to be direct with you. When your son-in-law sent over your documents, some things caught my attention." She paused, watching my face. "Have you reviewed your recent bank statements?" "Not really." Michael said he'd handle everything. Her expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. Concern, or maybe pity. "Mr. Harrison, in the past 6 weeks, there have been 7 large transfers out of your primary savings account. Total amount withdrawn is $463,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. $463,000. That was most of what I had. That was what I'd saved from selling my construction business. That was supposed to last me through retirement. "That's the new fund," I said, but my voice sounded weak even to me. Michael moved it to get better returns. Jennifer turned her computer screen toward me. "These transfers didn't go to any investment fund. They went to an LLC called Prestige Holdings." "What's Prestige Holdings?" "That's what I wanted to ask you." She handed me a printed document. "You're listed as a co-owner, but all the management rights belong to Michael Harrison. The company was formed 8 weeks ago." I stared at the paper. My name was there, printed in legal text I didn't understand. "I never formed a company. Did you sign any documents recently? Maybe something Michael described as investment paperwork?" The kitchen table, the gold pen, his easy smile. "Your family." "I signed papers," I whispered. "He said they were for the new fund." Jennifer's face was carefully neutral, but I could see what she was thinking. I could see what I looked like to her, a foolish old man who'd been taken by his own son-in-law. "Mr. Harrison, I think you need to contact a lawyer. Today." I left her office in a daze. I sat in my truck in the parking lot for 20 minutes, just breathing, trying to make sense of it. $463,000. Gone. My son-in-law. My daughter's husband. The father of my grandchildren. The man who called me Robert but never Dad. I should have gone to the police right then. I should have called a lawyer. But instead, I did something stupid. I called Michael. "Hey, Robert, what's up?" His voice was cheerful, unsuspecting. "I just met with an accountant, Jennifer Chen." Silence, just for a second. Then, "Oh, right. I scheduled that for you. How did it go?" She told me about Prestige Holdings. Another pause, longer this time. "Robert, I can explain that. It's a tax shelter, completely legal. It's actually saving you money. $463,000, Michael. It's still your money. It's just structured differently for tax purposes. Look, this is complicated. Why don't I come over tonight? I'll bring Sarah. We can go through everything together." Sarah. He was going to bring my daughter, use her as a shield. "No," I said. "Don't come over. Don't call me. I'm getting a lawyer." I hung up before he could respond. My hands were shaking. I gripped the steering wheel and forced myself to breathe. 2 years without Patricia. 2 years of being alone. And the one time I trusted someone, the one time I let my guard down, this is what happened. I drove home and sat in my empty kitchen. The cookies were still on the table from Michael's last visit. Stale now. I threw them away. Then I called my old colleague Thomas. We'd worked together for 30 years before I sold the business. He'd been at Patricia's funeral. He'd checked on me every few weeks since. "Thomas, I need help. I think I've been robbed." He was at my house in 40 minutes. We spent the evening going through everything. Every document Michael had given me. Every signature I'd put on papers I didn't understand. Thomas had a nephew who was a lawyer. He called him. The nephew asked questions. I answered them, feeling more foolish with each one. "Mr. Harrison, I'm going to be honest. This is bad. Your son-in-law created a shell company, had you sign over management rights, and transferred your assets into it. Technically, you're a co-owner. So it's not outright theft. But it's fraud. Definite fraud. Can I get it back? Maybe. It'll take time. Court proceedings. But first, we need to document everything. Do you have access to any other records? Bank statements, emails, anything that shows the full scope of what he's done? I didn't. Michael had always handled the paperwork. He'd always said he was keeping me organized. That's when Thomas made a suggestion that changed everything. Robert, Sarah has access to Michael's home office, right? You've been to their house. You've seen where he works. I'm not asking my daughter to spy on her husband. I'm not suggesting that. But you're over there every Sunday for dinner. What if next time you needed to use the bathroom upstairs? What if you happened to see something? It felt wrong. It felt like betrayal. But then I thought about $463,000. I thought about the way Michael had smiled when I signed those papers. Your family? Sunday dinner was a tradition that started when Patricia got sick. Every week, Sarah cooked, and I came over to see my grandchildren, Emily and Jake, 8 and 6 years old. Beautiful kids who called me Grandpa and showed me their school projects and had no idea their father was a thief. That Sunday, I almost couldn't go through with it. Sarah hugged me at the door. She'd made pot roast, Patricia's recipe. Emily showed me a picture she'd drawn. Jake wanted to tell me about his soccer game. This was my family. These were the people I loved most in the world. And Michael sat at the head of the table, carving the roast, asking me how I'd been, playing the role of the caring son-in-law. I've been better, I said. Still adjusting to the house? Sarah asked. She looked worried. She'd been worried about me since Patricia died. Something like that. Michael caught my eye across the table. There was something in his expression. A challenge, maybe. Or a warning. After dinner, while Sarah was getting the kids ready for bed, I excused myself. Bathroom? I said. The downstairs bathroom was closer, but I headed upstairs. My heart was pounding. I felt like a criminal in my own daughter's house. Michael's office was the second door on the right. I'd been in it before, briefly, when he showed me some paperwork. I knew he kept files in the desk. I knew he was meticulous about organization. The door was unlocked. Inside, everything was exactly as I remembered. Neat, professional. A photograph of Sarah and the kids on the desk. Next to it, a picture of Michael receiving some insurance award. I opened the desk drawer. Files. So many files. Client names I didn't recognize. Insurance policies. Investment documents. And then I saw it. A folder labeled Prestige Holdings. I pulled it out with shaking hands. Inside were bank statements, transaction records, and a document titled Asset Transfer Agreement with my signature at the bottom. But there was more. There were other documents, other names, other signatures. Patricia Harrison, my wife's name. Documents dated 18 months ago, 6 months before she died. He'd done this to her too. I heard footsteps on the stairs. I shoved the folder back into the drawer and stepped out of the office just as Sarah reached the top. Dad, you okay? You were up here a while. I forced a smile. Just felt a little dizzy. Sat down for a minute. Her face filled with concern. Do you need to see a doctor? No, honey. I'm fine. Just need to head home and rest. I left 10 minutes later. I hugged Emily and Jake. I thanked Sarah for dinner. I shook Michael's hand, and I looked him in the eye, and I saw that he knew. He knew I'd been in his office. Drive safe, Robert, he said. It sounded like a threat. I called Thomas from my truck. He did it to Patricia too. Before she died. The next morning, I met with Thomas's nephew, David. I told him everything. About the folder, about Patricia's name on those documents. I need to get back in that office, I said. I need those files. Mr. Harrison, that's breaking and entering. You can't. He stole from my dying wife. My voice broke. While she was dying, he was stealing from her. And now he's stealing from me. And if I don't stop him, he'll steal from someone else. Maybe from Sarah, eventually. David was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "If you happen to obtain documents through legal means, if, for instance, your daughter discovered them and chose to share them with you, Sarah would never believe me. She loves him. Then we do this the right way. We file a complaint. We start an investigation. It'll take time, but I don't have time. He knows I'm on to him. He'll move the money, hide the evidence. He's probably doing it right now." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Patricia, about how tired she'd been those last months, how she'd trusted Michael to help with our finances because she was too weak to deal with it herself. I thought about the life insurance payout after she died. $200,000. I'd put it in savings, hadn't touched it. Michael knew about it. He'd helped me set up the account. 3 days later, Michael called. "Robert, we need to talk. Can I come over?" "No." "Then meet me somewhere. Please. This is getting out of hand." We met at a coffee shop downtown. Neutral ground. Public place. He looked different. Tired. His suit was still perfect, but there were shadows under his eyes. "Robert, I think there's been a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding. You stole from me. You stole from Patricia." People at nearby tables glanced over. Michael lowered his voice. "I didn't steal anything. Those were legitimate investments. The returns haven't been great, but that's the market. It's risky. You knew that when you signed. I want my money back. It's in the company. It's tied up. These things take time to liquidate. You have 1 week. All of it. Back in my account." His expression hardened. "Or what? You'll sue me? Good luck. You signed everything willingly. You're listed as a co-owner. No court will see it as theft. I'll tell Sarah." And there it was. The thing that scared him. His face paled slightly. "You wouldn't do that. You'd destroy her marriage. You'd hurt your grandchildren. You destroyed the marriage when you became a thief. The kids will recover. Sarah will recover. But she deserves to know who she married." He leaned forward. "If you tell her, I'll make sure you never see those kids again. I'll convince her you're senile, that you're making up stories, that you need to be in a home. Who do you think she'll believe? Her husband or her paranoid father?" I stood up. My coffee was cold, untouched. 1 week, Michael. Or I go to the police. I tell Sarah, and I make sure everyone knows exactly what you are. I walked out before he could respond. The next 6 days were the longest of my life. I waited for him to call, to transfer the money back, to do the right thing. He didn't. On the 7th day, I called Sarah. "Dad? Hi. Is everything okay? I need to talk to you. Can you come to the house?" Without Michael. Without the kids. "You're scaring me. What's wrong?" "Please, Sarah. Just come." She arrived an hour later. I had everything laid out on the kitchen table. The documents I'd signed, the accountant's report, the printouts David had helped me compile. "Dad, what is all this?" I told her. Everything. The transfers. Prestige Holdings. The documents with Patricia's signature. The meeting at the coffee shop. She stood there, reading through the papers, her face getting paler with each page. "There has to be an explanation," she finally said, but her voice was shaking. "Ask him. Go home and ask him. Look in his office. Look at the Prestige Holdings folder. He wouldn't do this. He loves me. He loves the kids. I thought he loved me too. I thought family meant something to him." She left without saying goodbye. I watched her drive away and wondered if I'd just lost my daughter. 2 hours later, my phone rang. It was Sarah. She was crying. I found the folder. I found, "Dad, there's so much money. And there are other names. People I don't recognize. He's been doing this to other people. Where is he now? He's at work. He doesn't know." I looked. "Dad, what do I do?" "You pack a bag for you and the kids. You come here, and we call the lawyer." She came. She brought Emily and Jake, confused and scared. She brought 2 suitcases and a box full of documents from Michael's office. That night, while my grandchildren slept in the guest room, Sarah and I went through everything. There were 12 other victims. Elderly clients Michael had convinced to invest in opportunities. People who'd trusted him because he was an insurance broker. Because he seemed successful. Because he had a nice smile and wore expensive suits. He'd stolen from all of them. Over $2 million total. The next morning, we went to the police. The investigation took 3 months. They arrested Michael at his office. Sarah filed for divorce. The kids asked why Daddy wasn't coming home. We told them he'd made some mistakes and needed to make them right. The trial was quick. Michael's lawyer tried to argue that these were failed investments, not fraud. But the paper trail was clear. The shell companies. The forged signatures on some documents. The money he'd moved to offshore accounts. He got 7 years. I got most of my money back. So did the other victims. Not all of it. Some was gone, spent on Michael's lifestyle. The Audi, the expensive suits, the vacation home he'd bought under a different LLC. Sarah and the kids stayed with me for 6 months while she figured things out. She got a job at a dental office. She started therapy. Emily and Jake adjusted, the way kids do. Eventually, they moved into their own place, a small house 10 minutes from mine. Sarah started dating again last year. Someone kind, someone honest, someone who doesn't talk about money on the first date. I still have Sunday dinners with them. Sarah still makes pot roast. The kids still show me their school projects. But I'm more careful now. I read what I sign. I ask questions. I don't trust easily. And sometimes, late at night, I think about Michael, about how he sat at my kitchen table with his gold pen and his perfect smile, about how he called me family while planning to rob me blind. I think about Patricia and how he stole from her while she was dying. That's the part I can't forgive. That's the part that still keeps me up at night. But mostly, I think about how close I came to losing everything. My money, my daughter, my grandchildren, all because I made the mistake of trusting someone who saw family as just another opportunity. Last week, I got a letter from Michael's lawyer. He's appealing his sentence. He claims the evidence was obtained illegally because Sarah took documents from their shared home. He's still fighting, still trying to win. But I'm not fighting anymore. I'm just living, spending time with Sarah and the kids, working in my garden, having coffee with Thomas every Thursday. I'm building a life again. This time, I'm building it on solid ground. This time, I'm checking the foundation before I trust it to hold me up.